Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so happy to be here with you guys on this, what for me is bright and early on a Sunday morning. It's 9 a.m. The sun is shining bright. I am full of energy because the day is just starting. Good to go. My skin is skinning because I just had a facial yesterday with my good girlfriend in Mexico City, Corinne. Her salon, her space's name is Skin by Corinne. You didn't need to know that, but if you come to Mexico City, you do need to go see her. That was not an ad. I was just glowing. But we're not here today to talk about my skin. I don't think. We are here today to talk about where you can move to, where you can get residency. If your plan was to get residency in Mexico through regularization, which is a process we can talk about later, but if you know what I'm talking about, the RNE or the regularization, this video is completely for you. If you planned on getting it, but you can't get it anymore because you're no longer qualified based on the changes that they made on Thursday. Today's Sunday. They made changes to the process on Thursday. If you can't get it anymore, I'm here to talk to you about what you can do now. So without further ado, I want to welcome my special guest to talk to you about all things residency. And she should know because she's an expert, a true Mexican, a woman who needs no introduction. You ready? Miss Stephanie Perry.
Hola, buenos días, ¿cómo estás?
She has had residency in Mexico since Tuesday. Since Tuesday. And she is legit now. Officially official. Good morning to everyone in the comments. If you're just showing up, say hi, say hi, say hi. If you are watching this on the replay, drop a hello in the chat. Let me know you're watching, and let me know if you're watching where in the world you want to get residency. On this channel, I talk about residency a lot because residency is usually easier to get than citizenship, and most times you don't really need citizenship somewhere else, right? If you already have citizenship. For some of us, some people, it's important. But for a lot of other people, it has not historically been important, especially as I'm talking to Americans. It hasn't historically been important to get citizenship somewhere else. Just knowing that you have residency, which means you have a place where you can live for a number of years without any static, without having to do anything, without having to renew things, is usually enough for people who want to move abroad. So we're talking about residency and where you can get it in 2025. This is March 2025 and all the other good things. Good morning to all the members of my YouTube membership, Ra'a, Junket. I think I saw Dr. O here and some other people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, I see some Mexico in the field. Finland, girl, classy hacker, I ain't got it for you in Finland. I don't know what to tell you. I've never looked into Finland before. Every time, so I've done a couple polls lately. Stephanie and I run the Exodus Summit Empire. Just wait. And in both Exodus ASAP, our paid coaching program, and in Exodus Summit, our Facebook group, we've run polls lately asking people where they want to move to. And there's always some outlier where I'm like, you want to move where, girl? Let's talk about it. Anyway, Stephanie, I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
It's why you can't have just anybody.
You have some intel on Fiji that is surprising and shocking and might get somebody on this very live stream to Fiji.
I thought you were saying you wanted residency in Fiji.
Oh, no.
I was like, ma'am. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Fiji. Love Fiji. But I don't want to live there full time. I want to have the ability to go there whenever I want. Right? Look at all the browns. In the blacks. And then be on my way. But yeah. Let's talk about you. Where do you want, now that you've collected your Mexican residency, a lot of people are like Thanos with the rings, got to collect them all, right?
Yeah.
Do you want more residency? And if so, where are you looking at?
Definitely. In Colombia, definitely. Because I want my life for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years will be in Colombia. So I want to be there legally. So residency in Colombia is my next step. Um, it's they don't have, as far as I know, they don't have a process that's as simple as the process that I just went through for Mexico. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take some documents. And I think in Colombia, it's going to take an attorney. Every time I contacted someone when I was there, when we were there, they'd be like, just have your job do it. Just have your job do it. They don't have like a smooth and easy system for the layperson to do this process. It's usually people get transferred there for work, and the job, somebody at the job is in charge of helping you. And so Colombia, I think, is going to require an attorney, and it's going to require months and months of time. It's not even as simple as Mexico's process of residency through financial solvency, where you bring your documents, you go to the consulate, and you have a yes in hours. I think in Colombia, it's going to be weeks or months. But that's the next move, because that's where I'll be living my life. Mexico is a wonderful residency to have, because Mexico doesn't care if I live there after I get it. But because I do plan to live my life in Colombia, that is the next step for me. That's the next place for me to actually become a legal resident of.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
What if it wasn't? What is your, if you don't want to live in Mexico, why did you get Mexican residency?
I got residency in Mexico because I think it's important as a Black person who only has standing to live in the United States, or before this process. I think it's important to have a place that will take me in. I think that it's clear that the process that the United States is undergoing is to become an apartheid state. I think that their goal is to disengage, disenfranchise, to separate Black people, Black and brown people, from white people. White people will be full citizens, Black people will not. I think that's the full plan. And so I think it's really important to have a place where I can be like, knock, knock, I'm home, right? And have them let me in. And Mexico is that place. Mexico has been easy and welcoming to the immigrant, not like the United States. So I think that Mexico was a good choice for someone who is not sure that my first choice of Colombia is going to work. I'm not sure Colombia is going to work, right? You need a lawyer. I don't have a job there. I'm not sure that actual residency, legal residency, is going to work in Colombia. Now, they have a digital nomad visa, so I know I can stay there longer than the 90 days. But I don't know that I can become a full card-carrying resident, right? Have a card that says I live here. And so I needed that somewhere. I felt like I needed that somewhere. Right? Mexico allows you to reunify your family, your immediate family. So now that I'm a resident in Mexico, if things really go down, if things really go left in the United States, and Joe and Connie Perry need to leave the United States, I can reunify our family in Mexico. Mexico will make it easier for them to come in. They could have gone through the process themselves, but they're not going to do that. My dad's not anyway. My mom might. My dad is not going to go through that process himself. But now I can help bring them to Mexico if they need to get out of the United States. If they're still alive when the apartheid state kicks in, then I can, boom, Mexico will let us in. Also, like, Mexico is not just a plan B. It's also a place that I really love. It's a place I love being. There's not a city or town that I've spent significant time in Mexico where I couldn't have a great life, a better life than my life in Delaware was, right? It's a great place. And so it's really nice to have that residency, because I really love Mexico. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and loving it is a good reason. And like you said, it's nice to have a place that's easy. Yeah. And so that's one of the things I want to talk about today is going after the place that you really want to be, but also if you don't think it's going to be good for you to be where you are for much longer, hint, hint, y'all know who I'm talking to, the idea of going after something that's just easier, right?
Yes.
A lot of people want to move to places that I'm like, yes, you can do that, but it's going to like Stephanie said of Colombia, it's going to be really hard, right? And so one of the things you can think about is where is it easier? And where is it easier is really going to depend on who you are, where you're coming from, who you're moving with, what assets you have. And honestly, sometimes your assets are your childbearing years and your ability to have more children, or ability and desire, right? Like sometimes that is, in considering like moving somewhere, that is an asset. I ain't got that asset, but you know, for some of y'all, if you plan on having children again, I would, if I plan on having children right now, I would be looking at places where I can get citizenship or where my child can get citizenship if I give birth there, especially as a Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a second to talk.
Yeah.
My channel is mostly for Black women. So here we are. It's always for Black women, but some of y'all others are watching. It's okay. But right now I'm speaking to Black women. Stop having babies in the US. First of all, stop having babies for men who aren't going to be there for you. Right? Number one, that was random, but stop it. Because this stuff can kill you. Having a baby, it can kill you, right? Anyway.
Well, you can choose to be, I think if you know he's not going to be there and you don't care about that.
Yes. If he's just an extra.
Free sperm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you are having, anyway, that's it. And this is only not because I think poorly of you, but because it can kill you, is what I'm saying. Like it's
stressful.
Right? Don't do that. I love you too much for that. Anyhow, also stop having babies in the US.
Yeah.
Listen, there are whole industries in other countries that help women in that country go have babies somewhere else where that child can get residency,
citizenship,
can get citizenship, and you can get residency or citizenship. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of them. Right? That is, if you're going to have a child, why have a child in a country that doesn't care if you die in childbirth? Right? It's not even just about getting citizenship for your child, getting residency for yourself. It really is about, there are so many other better places to have children, right? Because if you are a US citizen, if you have your child somewhere else, they will also be a US citizen. I mean, under today's rules, right? Under today's rules, if you are a citizen and you have a child somewhere else, they will also be a US citizen. So they could be a US citizen and a citizen of somewhere else. If you do that. When I go to my list, let me see my places where you can get and what you can get by birth.
So when I was on my gap year in 2015, I was 41. And I knew that I believe Brazil is a country where if you have a baby, your baby is Brazilian and you're a Brazilian citizen, I think you can apply to become.
After 1 year.
Right? And so I was like, well, let me not get, what was happening was I was trying to decide what insurance I wanted, right? My insurance was very a la carte for that year. And I was like, well, let me pick up insurance for this and that, but I don't need insurance for childbirth and maternal care, because if I get pregnant on this year, I'm going to Brazil, right? If I get pregnant while I'm traveling on this year, I'm going to Brazil. Me and my baby gonna be Brazilians. Bom dia.
Okay, so when your child is born in Brazil, you and your spouse as the parent, you and the other parent, or I don't know if they assume your spouse is the parent. I don't know what they do. I ain't worried about the other person, are eligible for residency for indefinite term, effectively permanent residency, and then that guarantees you the right to stay, live, work, and travel outside of Brazil's borders, inside and outside of Brazil's borders. And then after getting residency, you can apply in a year to be a citizen. And it applies to same-sex couples as well. Now, why would you give birth in the US when you could give birth in Brazil? Now, this is okay. So this video is not about birth tourism. And I know that a lot of I think the majority of my audience is past the birthing age. I am past the birthing age and desire. Like, I think I could accidentally have a baby, but no, right? No, thank you. But if you are not, I also get the younger women who are like, but what about me? What about me? If you don't have a baby, baby, get to Brazil, right? Like, you don't have to waste your time going to a hospital in the US that doesn't care about you. Argentina is also, I think you can get citizenship when your child is 1 year old. Canada, you have to wait till your child is 18. In Costa Rica, you have to wait till your child is 10. But there are other, like, if you are of childbearing age and you want to have more children, like, this is not a reason to have a child, but if you want to have more, to me, but if you want to have more children and you're planning on having more children, hit the books, do some research. Where can you get good medical care and residency for yourself, and citizenship for yourself? Y'all playing yourselves having kids in the US. I'm so sorry. Like, get on a plane, please. Listen.
Major wasted opportunity.
Eve said, I don't even have a uterus. Y'all got me thinking of having a baby in Brazil. I'm like, this adoption count? What are we doing here? Yeah, there's
yeah. So when you say that there are whole industries, it's real. Like Chinese women,
Russia. Now, all coming to the US, but when they get to the US as a Russian woman, who do you think is getting better care? Right? They're coming to the US and getting better health care and having better maternal results than you are.
Yeah.
So of course they're coming. They're living through their childbirths. Of course they're coming. Go somewhere where you'll live through yours.
Yeah.
Listen. Yes, invite me to the baby shower. Anyone having a baby abroad, invite me to the baby shower. Anyone who sees this and has a baby abroad in like a year or two, let me know. I'm a good godmother. Hello.
Yes.
I am. Okay, so birthing. So this is for my youths, right? My young ones. Birthing is a great way to get citizenship somewhere else, to get residency somewhere else, to get citizenship for your children in a lot of other countries. They will still be an American citizen under today. I have to keep saying under today's rules because that man crazy. What else? Okay, so what other group of people should we talk about right now?
What groups do you have? So
okay, we talked about the youth. Let's stay with the youth for a minute.
Yeah.
There are a lot of programs that are open to people that based on age. And some of them for the younger people are going to be things like working visas, right? So in a lot of countries have working visas for people who are usually under 30 to come and work in the country and do something. It's a little trickier because those visas are usually reciprocal. You can come to my country and work here. I can go to your country and work there. But because the US doesn't really play those reindeer games, there are fewer options for people in the US. So this is for the younger people and some people in the US will qualify in some of these countries, but in a lot of the countries you won't. So people outside of the US should pay more attention to this as well. So let me see what I have for working visas. You did a working visa, right?
No, I did. No, I just did work exchanges, which count as tourism, not work.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did work exchanges in some countries to get free accommodation, but that counts as tourism.
Okay.
Yeah. I was too old for them, for most of them.
That's right. So it's usually between people who are 18 to 35, you have permission to live, travel, and work, and they're generally 12 months long. So that is a good way they're usually called working holidays, usually for about a year. So if you have a desire to do that, to work for a year in a country, look at working holidays, right? You're under 35, you want to move abroad, look for working holiday visas.
Yeah.
Homegirl always knows the right words. She's my fact checker. My official unpaid fact checker.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. So working holiday, do we know if working holiday visas can lead you to permanent residency, or is this like get in and get out?
I
I think,
don't know. I think they're usually get in and get out, but it could also lead you to the love of your life.
yeah.
Right? Which could lead you to a visa. Right? I think that's part of what we don't always think about is like just being somewhere for a year, even if you're not allowed to be there longer, could change your life. It could open you up to a different part of the world, right? Where you may be able to get an easier visa in somewhere else in that world, in that region. Or you may give birth. Or you may, you know what I mean? Like you might find an employer who wants to hire you and then you get an actual work visa in that country. There are lots of ways to stay in a country, right? And so if I was eligible for a working holiday, I wouldn't say, and I was interested in doing the work that was offered, I would do some Googling. I wouldn't say I'm not going to do it because it's only a year and it wouldn't be, you know, it's not a long-term thing. Yeah, there's, you never know what the universe is going to send your way when you do something like that, when you step out of your current box.
Good. Yeah. So we don't talk often about work visas in our space. The standard work visa. We don't talk about them in our space too much. Generally, people do that because they already have a job and they work for a company that is sending them to another place. And that's how you get a work visa in that other place. But you're right that showing up on a working holiday visa may lead you to a work visa that you otherwise would not have, to a job that will get you the work visa that you otherwise would not have been in the running for. Right. It's really hard to go to another country with no job and get a job. But a working holiday visa for the youngsters is a good way to get yourself there and be in the place to get the job and then the visa, the longer residency visa. Yeah, that's good. That's good planning.
I was about to say, I don't think we're going to talk about work visas, but if your company has an opportunity to move outside of the US on a work visa, go ahead and apply. When I was in Korea, I met a woman who is Korean by descendancy and born, I think born in LA. In LA since she was a child, and lives in the Netherlands because her job sent her there. And now she's on like job 2 or 3 down the line from that job and is still in the Netherlands and is married to a man who I don't know if he's Dutch, I don't remember, but like has been there for, I don't know, 10, 15 years or so, right? Just because one job sent her there, right? Don't count out a work assignment abroad, getting a work visa through a work assignment abroad as because it's temporary.
Yeah. All them Deloitte girlies, get in that computer and get yourself sent somewhere.
If you can Deloitte in Kansas, you can one of them other ones in, you know, in Germany, in somewhere else. Because they listen all over the place.
Everywhere.
All over them consulting companies.
I still am not clear what they do, but you see their buildings everywhere.
Everywhere. I was in Ireland, like, I just saw y'all over there in England. Y'all not gonna have one? Just everywhere? Okay, all right. Yeah. Yes. So working visas are a good opportunity as well. If you work visas, if you have that, if you work for a multinational company, tell your boss, dog, they're trying to kill me here. Where can I go? Right? Like, maybe not those words if your boss will just gaslight you, but if they won't, you know, say what you got to say.
There's a woman in our community who had the opportunity to be transferred to Italy. And she was like, but they want to pay me, I think it was $600 or $800, maybe let's say $1,000 less per month. She was like, but they want to pay me less per month. I'm like, girl, that's money well earned, money well spent, right? Consider that $1,000 a month, what it cost you to be free. I don't even think it was all that much. I think it was hundreds, $500-$600 less per month. I was like, that's the healthcare difference. That is healthcare cost difference alone, right? I was like, take the pay cut and get the piece, right? Get the job in another country that gets you the place. Like, if your dream is to live in Italy, and here's an opportunity for you to live in Italy, $300, $400, $500, $600, $800 a month probably is not going to ruin the dream, right? Spend that money to get the dream.
And I love when our community comes through, because Aisha from Abroad Ability, hey girl, hey. So teachers at international schools bop around the globe. Yes. So many Black women that I know that live abroad are teachers, and they enjoy their life. They're in Oman, they're in Senegal. Adelia was in China. She was in Honduras. I ain't never been to Honduras. Right?
Yeah.
Teaching, working. You're still doing the same job. You're still teaching. And the kids might be in some of these places, the kids might be a little better behaved as well. Your class size might be smaller. People may care about education more. They may have a Department of Education. Right?
And the kids can read.
Woo. Okay. So yeah, so if you're a teacher, like, you have, I don't know of an easier work route to teach abroad, to live abroad, than teaching. It's the one. American teachers are always in demand.
They love that people love that we have an American accent, right? When people learn, because America is for now, is the top dog in the established world English speakers, right? Yes. People love when their students can get an American accent. So if you're a teacher, you teach history or math or whatever y'all teach. They love teachers from the United States.
And most places will let you take your family with you, right? Yeah. Usually I tell you to leave them behind. Do what you got to do. But most places will let you bring your family, right? They're like, and here's the housing for you. Go get you some.
Nene Smith says she would love to learn how to teach abroad. So Adelia's book, Adelia, do you feel like your book is still relevant and current and something that we should point people to? Or do you think, or is there a newer resource that you've put out in the world? Adelia wrote a book on landing teaching jobs abroad, specifically for you. Adelia says she still thinks it's relevant and helpful. Right, so well, Adelia, I was just going to type her name in the chat. If you,
she could drop a link.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Adelia, on here, she's Picky Girl Travels the World. But if you look for Adelia Aborasade's book on teaching abroad, that is what we would recommend for teachers. You're already a teacher. That is the path. It's one of the fastest ways out of the country, right?
Hello.
Yeah.
And Amina says they're caring about teachers in other places. Y'all not bottom of the barrel in other places. Like, get that respect, get those coins, right? Do it. Get them gifts. Let me get a little Dubai gift, right? Okay, so we talked about work visas. We started with the youth, right? If you're gonna have a baby anyway, have a baby in a place where you might get, your child is gonna get citizenship, and you can get residency or you can get citizenship. Please and thank you, right? Like, for me, your child is no less American because they were born somewhere else, right? That's in our Constitution that has not been burned yet. I think it's in the Constitution, right? I don't know that thing. I should. Yes. I think it is. Yes. Yeah. Back to teachers. Dubai pays big money for teachers, and housing is covered. Dr. K said the same thing. I love teaching abroad in the Middle East, housing included. And if you don't want to use Amazon, which we do not stand for Amazon over in this part of the world. By the world, I mean my channel. Go to her, get it direct, buy direct from the source. Boom, bam. Okay, let's talk to our retirees. Okay, so we talked to the youth. We're gonna talk to our seniors. Now, if you're watching this and you're over 55, it's not time to act up. You know I'm talking to you, but I know how y'all do. Is Anita here? Anita, if you hear, shh.
No. She
Don't
would
be
never
bad.
act up. Anita would never act up.
Y'all, when you see Global Granny in these comments, no, she gonna act a fool. Anyhow, here for the our more seasoned ladies.
Yeah.
Y'all have so many opportunities. Truly, truly. Retirement visas around the world are so plentiful. Oh yeah, she's in Asia, so she probably asleep right now.
Oh yeah.
Because she hasn't come back yet from bopping around the globe with us in Southeast Asia.
Stuff on them Vietnamese pancakes.
Yes. Okay, so we talked to our more senior ladies. What are some, Stephanie, what are some retiree visas you would like to consider?
Panama and Ecuador are super open and seem to be relatively easy.
Mhm.
And they have a low financial threshold.
Mhm.
So a lot of women who look at Mexico's numbers, so Mexico allows residency through a lot of different paths. One of those is financial solvency, right? But they have a number, with a bar you need to hit. And women who don't hit that number often are like, oh, but let me just go to Panama or Ecuador. Latin America is Latin America. And places like that are nice to seniors in addition to being welcoming, right? In addition to being welcoming financially to seniors, they're just nicer, right? And, gentler and kinder and more welcoming to seniors. So I think, right off the bat, Panama and Ecuador, people used to like to retire to the Philippines, Thailand. So I should say Southeast Asia. People also like to retire to Southeast Asia.
Okay. Real quick, Amber has a request for y'all.
Okay.
Hit that like button. It was 400 y'all there a minute ago.
I'm slipping. Look at me. I'm slipping. It's
Slipping.
me. I'm the one who didn't do it.
Go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. If you're not, give it a thumbs down so you won't watch me again. Because this is what I do, right? If you don't like it, it's okay. If you want to see more of it, give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
If you feel neutral, give it a thumbs. Neutral is a thumbs up as well. I'm so sorry. If you did not know, neutral is a thumbs up. But if you're like, if I hear her voice another minute, I'm gonna die. First of all, press the X. Right? Please get out of here. There's other ways to get this information. I promise. Okay, so yes, have we liked it? We're back. We're good. Okay,
we did.
All right. T Gainer Jennings says she was looking at Panama until recently. I'd like to know why you stopped looking at Panama. Oh, some of y'all really know what to do in the comments. Some of y'all, thank you, Kay. Some of y'all really know what to do, and I appreciate that. I love you a long time. Long time. Thank you. Yes. So AGL is going to said something that I was going to say, but since she wrote it on the screen, we'll give her credit for it. Panama's requirement for the pensionado visa, which is their retirement visa, which, hello friends, listen to me. You only have to be 18 years old with a permanent source of monthly income, like a pension, disability that's permanent, like from the military, any kind of permanent income, $1,000 a month, and 18. Honestly, I think just that alone, and you get lots of benefits, like 25% off airfare. You want to fly on Copa, 25% off. I got to pay full fare. Y'all getting 25% off? Listen, I have a photo. It's not very good on my phone. It's not here. But I went to dinner with some of the ladies in Panama, some of our Panamanians. Yes, who have their pensionado visa. And when the guy came around with the checks, one woman just stuck her pensionado card on her forehead. I just looked at him. I was like, oh, she not playing, just stuck it on her forehead. Like, yep, not playing about my discount.
Rain that discount down on me. That's what she was.
It was like, run that back. Thank you. I don't pay full price. I said, oh,
So,
every time they go out to eat, a discount?
mhm.
If it's airfare, if you're a big traveler, the money you spend on the application fee, which I don't think is a lot, right? There's going to be for all of these, there's going to be some amount of admin, application fees, etc. There's going to be some money involved. But if you get 25% off on airfare, you're getting money off on food. I don't know what percentages on food. You're getting percentages off a lot of stuff. How long before you get that money back?
Right. That's right.
Right? Like how long? And you only need to be 18? And if you have kids, it's $250 for each dependent you bring with you. So it's $1,000 for you is the monthly requirement. Not that you need to pay it, but it's the monthly requirement. So if you have $1,500 in a pension or in military disability, you could bring you and 2 children with $1,500 a month.
A month. That's right. So what counts in in this world? Does my retirement account count? My retirement?
No, because it has to be $1,000. I don't know if annuities would count. You would have to speak to a Panamanian lawyer, but it's $1,000 coming in a permanent income source.
Okay.
So, yes. So if Social Security, so Jazzy says settling Social Security is feeling iffy, and Amina says if your Social Security is feeling iffy, get residency now.
Do it now.
Do it now. Like that's one of the reasons we talked yesterday on Stephanie's channel. We talked about this because if you're feeling like you had a plan with Mexico's regularization program and now your plan is screwed up, don't expect everything to stay the status quo in other countries, right?
Yeah.
If you have a goal, if you have a plan, put it in motion now. If you have a goal but you don't have a plan, join us in Exodus ASAP.
Please.
My lovely assistant is going to drop a link now. Amina is she's our community liaison coordinator, community manager.
I think she calls herself community manager.
Yeah, she's our community manager, which is why I thought of that in Exodus ASAP. And this is residency month. I get the feeling though that we're gonna have quite a few residency months.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again.
Because this is it's for a lot of people, this is the hurdle to getting abroad. There are a lot of other hurdles that we address in Exodus ASAP as well, like small things like decluttering. But sometimes you need someone to hold your hand when you're decluttering, right? We look at things like your mindset, what's going on, how are you going to move your pets, how are you going to move, you know what I mean, your family, how do you say goodbye to the people you say goodbye to. But then we do look at the like really concrete stuff, like what are your steps you're taking to get residency?
Yeah.
And how can we help guide you? What assistance can we get? Can we find you someone to hold your hand as you're going through the process? What would you say about Exodus ASAP?
It's a monthly membership, and you decide how long you want to go to be in the community. But remember that waiting too late is too late, right? If you've done all the work, you've probably done all the work in a longer process, in a slower process than if you had just joined us earlier and made more progress and then left, right? Yeah, it's a place where you're going to break down the different parts of your move abroad, what you need and don't need to make your move abroad realistic happen, make it a reality. And it's where you're going to get answers from us, from our community, and it's where things are going to move faster and more smoothly than if you had tried to do everything on your own, right? Like just today, some options have been, Rashida just today has brought up some options that you didn't consider, you had never considered, right?
That's what we do. One-on-one, in a small group, in a much smaller group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's over and over and over again when you get coaching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Michelle says, yes, annuities count for pension, not a visa. And Diane specifically said a lifetime annuity would count for Panama. So give a lifetime annuity.
Okay.
Changing gears, a second, Stephanie DK is bringing up something I don't know about, which is Peru. She says visas for retirees earning $1,000 a month. This is where people get stuck. 183 days a year stay. So you got to stay just over half the year with it. But a 2 to 3 year path to citizenship isn't bad.
That's
I
amazing.
know anything else about Peru. I typically stay away from places where I need to be there a long time, which is why Mexico is good for me, and Panama tends to be good for a lot of people because they don't have long stay in the country requirements. But I could do 6 months in Peru if I like. I've never been to Peru.
Yeah, especially if citizenship is important to you. Yeah,
Mhm.
especially if that piece of the pie, of the piece of the puzzle is important to you. Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
great. $1,000 a month, 3-year path to citizenship.
Yeah. I most countries don't have that short of a path to citizenship. Most countries. Well, so in Mexico, I got my temporary visa, my temporary residence visa for a year, but I had to renew for 3 years. And then I'll change to a permanent residency. And after 5 years of permanent residency, then I think I can get citizenship. So I will have had to have had the visa for 9 years.
9-year path.
Citizenship.
Okay.
I don't need citizenship. Like my residency in Mexico for me is enough. I don't need citizenship. But if you want to get citizenship somewhere else and it's important to you, 2 to 3 years, if getting citizenship somewhere outside of what you have right now is important. And I understand that it might be. 2 to 3 years might feel like forever today. It's going to be 2027 before you know it, right? It's going to be 2028 before you know it. And I don't know how long that the very thin and feeble dam that exists in the US court system is going to hold up before it breaks. So if you could, I don't know how long it takes to get that visa. I honestly don't know anything about the Peru retiree visa, but I'll be doing some research now. If you could do that, start the process now and live legally in Peru now, right? And stay there, maybe 365, not 183, right? Stay there now and then get citizenship in 2 or 3 years. What have you lost, right? Like this is, I saw a man earlier ask, why do Black people need to leave the US? After you had already said what you said, Stephanie. So I'm gonna assume he did not see that part. But you don't have to leave the US, right? This video is for people who want to, for people who are like, looking ahead, this does not look like the place I want to be, right? If you're looking ahead and you're like, I don't think I want to stay in the US for long, go ahead and get residency somewhere else, right? So that when you're ready, you don't have to do it. You need to get residency before you think you need it, because when you need it, it's too late. We've seen just this week, the rules change, right? We have seen the rules change. And we know for some people are like, I thought about getting residency and then I got residency the same week. It is such a blip in the universe compared to people who are like, I have been working on this for 6 months, right? That is usually what we hear. So when don't wait until you're like, I'm ready to leave now. I'm going to work on residency now. Get residency and have it in your back pocket, right? In a country where you don't have to be, like I think in Panama, no, Portugal, you need to be there, right, in the beginning. Right? So if you get residency in Portugal, you need to be ready to be out. I believe that's how it works. Other countries, you don't need to. If you don't need to be out the minute you get their residency, put that in your back pocket, like Stephanie put Mexico in her back pocket. She's going to leave. She's going to go to Veracruz soon. And then leave Mexico, and you have no plans on coming back, right?
No, it's not on my schedule for this year or next year, right?
But when you want to go to Mexico, you have a 4-year residency. You can bop right in, and they're not going to say nothing to you.
And stay and not have to leave, not have to look at my calendar and count down and make sure I don't overstay, make sure I don't miss the time that they stamp. When did they stamp and how much time did they give me this time? Pressure's off. The pressure is off. Yeah. I wanted to say one more thing about Panama. But anyway, so Mexico, Panama, they don't care. Once you get their residency visa, they don't care how much time you spend in that country, which is very helpful.
So Amina she is Pokemon catching them all. she is working on Panama. Now she's talking about France because she just saw someone said it was $1,500 to get it. And I think she's talking about Mexico too. Girl, you don't have to do this. One is enough. One in a place where you're like, I could live here.
Yeah.
Not, it's my absolute favorite place. I'm not saying find your absolute favorite place on the planet. I'm saying find a place where you're like, I could live here. Right? I could live in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Listen, I was in Singapore the other day and I was like, I do not like this as a vacation spot, but I think I could live. It has enough things where I'm like, I think I could live here.
Oh.
Now, I went outside enough times to realize I could not live here because that heat had me like down and out. But yeah, like there are a lot of like, I think weather is my only thing where I'd be like, can't do it. I don't do the heat. I don't do the cold. Real temperate.
Yeah.
Bev, ASAP is a membership. So you enroll on one day. And if you don't want to be in it the next month or the next 30 days, you cancel before your 30 days is up.
Mm-hmm.
And you can come back in and out as much as you want.
It's a rolling month. So it's not like the 1st to the 30th. It's whatever day you join, you're in for 1 month at least.
Yeah. Sharifa, hi, are you in the membership? Come join, come hang out. You knowing things.
Yeah.
Thai Elite Visa. I don't know anything about the Thai Elite Visa, but I will tell you that we have someone coming to talk about the Thai, is it their DTV visa?
I think those are the letters I believe I saw.
Coming to talk about that visa this month. We have someone talking about a digital nomad, I believe, visa in Thailand that allows you to live there. And I was wrong. You only need 5 years of living legally, so for citizenship. So it's 5 years. So I can be a Mexican citizen in a year.
Ooh, oh, good. Yeah, DTV for Thailand and the other one for Indonesia.
Yes.
Indonesia. So all of y'all who love Bali or think you would love
Bali, stay in Bali, come.
We have
going to be in Exodus ASAP talking about it. Mm-hmm. And Tangid says, can you have temporary visas or permanent residency visas in multiple countries? Yes, they do not care. They do not, like, what they care about is like money laundering and fraud. And you showing up for their country and like, I don't know, starting a riot. You're not fire festing in these places, right? Like you could. Yeah, you can have as many as you want, unless it's like countries that don't get along. But like, if you want a visa, if you're looking to get residency in like countries that don't get along, either with the place where you have citizenship or the place where, or like have some rival, like you're not gonna get visas in Israel and Qatar, right? Like you got to choose one, right? You're not gonna keep that U.S. citizenship once you get like your someone in the background. Once you get your visa in North Korea, right? Like that's not throw away that passport, right? U.S. passport, you done, right? But other than that, most countries like each other. Most countries want to be a part of the global whatever, right?
That's right. So we did a caravan the Exodus ASAP membership ladies. We caravan to Mexico this last week on Sunday. This time last week, we were gathering in San Diego so that we could drive into Mexico to caravan. And we've been staying in the house together because we got our residencies together on Tuesday. And so some of the women are still here. That's Lita. Good morning, Lita. Some of the women are still here, but the ASAP membership is like when we say residency month, we mean it. When we say we're focusing on this thing for this month, we mean it. Those women, 9 of the women, so like, I don't know, a percentage of the women in the membership got together and crossed into Mexico together and got our residency cards together and are leaving separately because they're like, thanks, I'm out, right? But yeah, that is the thing that we did inside of the membership and a thing that we will do again if Mexico lets us. If this remains a legal process, we'll continue to do it this way. We plan on doing the residency caravan again in May. But this caravan in March, very successful.
Very successful. And we have our connect for that caravan is coming in this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time to talk to us about Mexico residency. So we're getting an expert. Usually, you know, we love Black women speaking to Black women about their experiences around the world. But for this, we wanted an expert in Mexican residency to come talk to us. So we have someone coming in on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have someone there. She'll be answering questions. And I think Amina is collecting questions in advance. So if you're in the residency and you can't make it at 8 p.m., drop your question when Amina asks for questions. Don't be DMing her with questions now. And if you're not in the membership, you cannot get your question answered. But if you're in the membership on Friday, we will work on getting those questions answered on Friday.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I've never really looked at, I know someone who wants residency in the Netherlands, but I've never really looked at this. I know it's there, but the name I've always been suspicious of it because of the name.
That's exactly how I feel. Is this a real thing? But people mention it enough that it must be real, but it sounds not real.
Friendship visa? I don't know about that. I was like,
But yeah. Any treaty that has American and friendship in it is at risk. So you need to get on it now. If it does exist, we have to assume that it's at risk and we need to get to work on it now. So if the Netherlands, so I said Colombia is where I'll be for the next 3 to 6 years, but the Netherlands is where I see myself being with when I have teenage kids or when I have kids who are allowed to leave the house and be gone for all day, go take themselves to school and all of that. The Netherlands is one of my top choices.
Really?
I really love the way that those kids lived. Those kids in the Netherlands lived like we lived in the 80s.
Okay.
Right? Go, get out of the house, go somewhere. You would just see like hordes of children biking to school or going to soccer practice or whatever. And so I would like, it's one of my top places to raise my family. Yeah, so maybe I need to start poking the Dutch-American Friendship Treaty to
see what happens while it still exists.
Yes, while it exists.
Yeah, Aisha says Netherlands is free-range parenting.
Yeah, I really liked the way that they lived. I was only there for a little while house sitting, but I liked it. It was very familiar, right? And kids are out. You go to the grocery store, it's just kids out there, right? They had like a little, not a park, but a little thing, and kids just out there riding their bikes and taking themselves to school, taking themselves to practice. They seem to be happy and safe and have structures built for them, systems built for them to protect them. And Monique raised her kids in the Netherlands, and they seem like, happy.
Happy kids. We like happy kids.
Yeah.
Okay. So other places, because we started this by talking about retirement, other places that have retirement visas you might want to look at are Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Mauritius, New Zealand, and Fiji. Okay. I want to say a word about Mauritius. A reel went viral lately with, I think it was like you needed to have like 50. It was it was not a lot. There was some amount of money you needed to have in order to get the Mauritius retirement visa. And it seemed like it was very accessible. And I want to $1,500 a month. You can get a 10-year residence permit and whatever. And I saw a lot of people saying like, what about Mauritius? What about Mauritius? You see how Stephanie and I are both like, I want you to consider that if you're going to move somewhere, only because you meet the requirements.
Yeah.
If you're going to move somewhere, I'm not saying don't get residency. I'm saying get residency somewhere where you meet the requirements. But I'm going to say if you're going to move somewhere simply because you meet the requirements, if it's not somewhere you love, it should be somewhere where you can get to a place you love pretty easily.
Okay.
At least, or like you really like. We both visited Mauritius and we're like,
No. I wouldn't even say go on a vacation to Mauritius, let alone move to Mauritius. I can't imagine. So Sierra Merritt, who's in the Exodus Summit Facebook community, I shouldn't have said her last name. Sierra lives in Mauritius and she's been there for several years now. And, you know, she seems to like it, but I can't imagine anyone else. She had a boyfriend. I don't think if it wasn't for him, I don't know that she would still be there. Right. I can't imagine anyone enjoying life, enjoying the Mauritius people and the community, right, which does not exist.
Mauritius felt like a very insular place. Like, yes, if you're on a resort, they're going to treat you well. We weren't on a resort. We were out in the community. You don't think so? We're going to treat you well on a resort?
No. Did we go to any establishment where it was like, welcome?
No, we did not get Fiji anywhere in Mauritius. That's not my, if you're not Fiji in me, then like, I don't need to be here. It did feel very insular. Like if you weren't from there and you were out of the resorts, not with a tour guide, whatever, it kind of felt like, what are you doing here? Like that man who just walked in front of me at the grocery store and was like, you have too many things in your cart. And just walked in front of me and like in my line. And I was like there's no, that don't happen to me in Mexico. Right?
Even we went to the resort for lunch and they were so stank about giving us a table. And then we were like, can we go?
About us coming in, remember? Coming in at all. Oh, you want to eat? Chill. Yes, you want to give you our money.
I can't imagine a Black person. I'm not saying they were like this because we were Black. I'm saying they're like that. We didn't see a white person get service either. Okay. We never saw anyone get good customer service in Mauritius. We never saw anyone get any welcome or any customer service or any warmth at all. And so, like I said, she has a boyfriend. She lives there. She has a boyfriend there. But I don't think if she did not have the boyfriend, I don't think she would still be there. She talked about wanting to go to Europe, right? Yeah. So you want to upgrade, right? You want to upgrade your life. You want to live some place where your life is going to be better. And I think community is an upgrade. Going someplace where you can be in community with people, that's an upgrade. That's worth investing in. It's worth making sure that you find a good place for. It's worth that.
Yeah. I would do Fiji in a heartbeat before, and I would never consider Mauritius. And they're both places that are far, like not easy to get to. But if I'm gonna go somewhere where it's hard to get, like, listen, the vibes in Fiji were immaculate, right? When they were like, come back, one of the women who was with us, Catrice, the people still text her like, hey girl, how's it going? When are you coming back? What's going on? How you doing? Right?
Yeah. The woman at the hotel, just a woman who worked at the hotel, not like a friend that she met in Fiji, just a woman who worked at the hotel. Text her, hey, you coming back this month? Right?
So when that reel was going viral, I was like, it's not even the lowest number. Like it's high. It's like 50% more than you need in Panama or Peru. Like, but whatever they had, I don't know, that thing with the president talking about it. I was like, I see it. I still don't want it. I don't want it. But yeah, New Zealand, Fiji were at the end of that list. If I didn't already say those. Yes, Fiji is. We did not have one bad experience. Mind you, we barely left the resort. Did we leave the resort at all? No.
Catrice left for us. She was our ambassador out in the world.
But from the airport to I was crying when I was leaving Fiji. I believe some of that was perimenopause. Some of that was just like, it felt so good. I did not want to leave this feeling. It felt so good. I'm crying. And the check-in man child, he 20 something, maybe 30, came around the counter and was like you could tell like he wanted to like close the gap and like make me feel better, but he's also a professional at a man who just met me while I had in my passport 30 seconds ago. But he came around the corner and he was like, okay. Like, how do I touch her without really touching her? It's all right. What's going on? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yes, all the way to the stranger at the check-in counter at the airport. I don't know, but I could have done that in a U.S. airport and had an employee be like I know there's a couple Black women at those check-in counters who'd have been like, come here, baby. And I'd been head and bosom real quick. Yeah. But like, other than that, I don't know, but a lot of airport employees would have done that. Been like, okay, I'm going to stop checking you in and just come deal with whatever emotional moment you're going through. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo.
Mm-hmm. Warm. It's just such warm people in a beautiful environment. Like it's the total package. If, like Rashida said, if you're okay with being that far, it's far. Okay. It's just an A+. If you were island life, right? Island life. We're not talking about big city life, but a beautiful island with beautiful people.
Mm-hmm. And like kind people, lovely people. It's top 2 on my list, and I don't think it's 2 of like places where if I could live there, I would live there.
Okay.
Right. There are places where like it just realistically isn't. I couldn't live in Fiji and still do Exodus Summit. So yeah. I'm not there for you guys. For
it's our fault. It's our fault.
For the community. I'm here for the community. I'm in Mexico. Well, I'm in Mexico. I love Mexico. But honestly, like that's something to consider. Like, what time zones can you work in?
Yeah.
I'm not working when I want to be asleep. My body don't do that. My body sleeps when it wants to sleep. So I can't be on the other side of the world. Stephanie would be like, it's time for a meeting. And it would be like 4 a.m. No. No. I won't be there. Yeah. Anyhow. Okay. So someone in my comments asked about OMG girl. Hey. Where's a great place for those of us who are chronically ill and need healthcare, and for those of us in the LGBTQIA? Okay, let's start with
good questions.
Let's start first with chronically ill and healthcare, and then we're gonna do LGBTQIA and see if we can find some overlap.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. All right, what do you think are some great places? All right, in the comments, if you live somewhere where that is great for healthcare, that's of course not the U.S. because we know it's crap for healthcare. Drop it in the comments. What would you, I think, honestly, girl, once you leave the US, everything is better. I am someone who is chronically ill. I have chronic illnesses, but I don't flare that often. But I don't flare that often now that I've moved to Mexico. When I was living in the US, my life was almost a constant flare. Between the higher level of stress that I lived under and the lack of like curious healthcare, right? We're doctors were like, how do we really dig into this and figure out if this didn't work, what else can we do? I have gone a very long time without flares that I used to have every day. So that's the best thing for my chronic illnesses was leaving the US. I have a number of autoimmune issues. My autoimmune system is like, when I was at Corinne's yesterday, she's introducing a new, I don't know if she's announced this yet. She's introducing a new thing. And she was explaining it. And I was like, she said it helps your immune system like renew your skin. And I was like, autoimmune issues? She was like, yeah, no, girl, you can't do it. You can't do that. Like I have a list of autoimmune issues that are chronic. And honestly, leaving the US got most of them under check. But that's not your question. So let's answer your actual
Yeah.
question.
So, but that is a real answer, that out of the US, people with chronic illnesses are going to see, like, it's hard to say where, because it's like a lot of places. The US does not have an interest really in fixing the problem, right? Because we're ruled by a handful of industries, and the drug industry is one of them. And so it's more about, maintenance than solving. And it's more about money than your care, more money than care. And money is more prioritized than your care. So there are a lot of places. I would think that you would want some places with some large hospitals, probably not island life. Right. I would imagine if I were chronically ill, I would want to go to some cities where I have access to some hospitals instead of island life, where I would probably need to get on a boat to get to a big hospital. So then maybe we're thinking, maybe then we need to approach it as places where a temporary resident gets full health care, because a lot of countries have universal health care. So that's also not going to shorten the list. A lot of places have universal health care, but on a temporary residency, we know that France gives temporary residents full access to their system. It's called Social Security.
And you have to be a part of their system to get that residency.
Yeah.
AGL said they had excellent healthcare in that city in Mexico City and in France. Thailand is so Rhonda says Thailand for both of your questions. But does Thailand have universal healthcare? It's healthcare there is generally so cheap that I think people are just like, you want these 2 nickels for my prescription? All right. Right. Like, okay.
That's right. I don't know that they have universal health care, but I know it's the kind of place where out-of-pocket health care is fine. You're fine with paying out of pocket.
Stephanie says France for healthcare. Hey, Halisi or Rick, or Halisi and Rick. Hello, friends. Portugal has great healthcare, but private insurance may be challenging to get, but out-of-pocket costs without insurance are less than most deductibles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I told you guys last week that my mammogram was $100. Mammogram and boob ultrasound was $100. And that included the result, that included all the exam, everything in Mexico. And I went to the bougiest hospital and I paid $100. My first visit with my doctor, she charges more for the first visit for the gyno. We talked for an hour and she did a pelvic exam and a pap smear. And the entire cost, testing and everything, and results, and her calling me at the back end, all of that was $200. And I went to the booth, I'm like, where's the hospital where they dress you, like they come in and sing to you like an angel, right? Like where is that? That's what I want. And I paid $200 for that. Doctor's visit, pap smear, pelvic exam, all of it. The little manual exam video. Right? Once you leave the US, healthcare is always significantly more affordable and accessible. I mean, there are a few places, maybe like Japan, where it won't be like that, but very few places.
So Malaysia, I see Kemi talking about Malaysia in the chat. So Malaysia has a reputation for amazing healthcare as well. If Southeast Asia is not too far for you, right? Malaysia has a wonderful reputation, but
yeah.
It sounds untrue, but seriously, almost anywhere where you have a big city, right? Or you can have access to the big city, you're going to get fantastic healthcare for pennies on the dollar, right? For a fraction of what you're paying in the US.
Our friend Andrea Hopkins.
Andrea Hayden.
Thank you. Chose Coimbra because there was a hospital there, but she wanted to visit. And Amina is saying that she wants to go to Panama because there's a hospital there, but she wants to visit.
I would say this. If you're going to another country, I would not base it on, do they have US healthcare systems there? I think you want the healthcare of that country. I wouldn't want doctors who are going to do the same shit they do in the US, right? Talk down to you, disregard you, discount your pain because you're a Black woman. And when I see Johns Hopkins or any US healthcare system, the Mayo, I don't care, right? That would be my assumption, that these are the same rascals that would let me die in childbirth in the US. I would not use, do they have US systems there? Just like I wouldn't say, move to such and such a place because they have US schools there, or move to such, right? There are places, untether yourself from the idea that American is better and find some good healthcare in those places. Now, there are concierges who specifically will help people with chronic illnesses match themselves to places, to cities, but they usually work in one country. So there are concierges in Portugal who will help you find a city in Portugal and a hospital in Portugal and healthcare in Portugal. I don't know that anyone does it broadly and is like, well, but if you know of a country that you're already into and you know you have some chronic illnesses or some diseases that need to be managed, concierges will help you find a location within that place. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say that what you want to do is find US hospitals in other countries, because what made you sick in the first place? They got you where you are. Let the other countries' healthcare providers provide healthcare to you. Mm-hmm. Care. Okay.
All right. We're going to get to the second part of our question. What is a good place for the LGBTQIA community? Yes. And I saw someone say Puerto Vallarta. And I think Puerto Vallarta is a good, Stephanie's laughing because she knows what I'm about to say. Mm-hmm. I think Puerto Vallarta is a good example of a city that is open and welcoming and good for and kind to the LGBTQIA folks. But what it looks like in practice is white gay men. Like in actuality, when you go there, when I'm in the romantic zone, I see the clubs and the things. It's like the people who don't look like, it's hard to tell if someone's actually from Mexico, right? Like without speaking to them. But the people who look like foreigners are generally white gay men. So I think that when we talk about this, I don't know that we have the answer for you, but we'll see. Oh yeah, Brown Girls Invest Too. D says Puerto Vallarta is gay white men heaven. It's just like, it is open. Like if you as a Black queer, I'm going to call you, sorry if that's wrong, woman, it is a place where I believe you could be public with your love and be okay. But if you need to date, is your person there? I don't know. And so I think that there's a difference between, is it safe for the LGBTQIA community, and as a Black woman who's looking for X, right? Am I going to find it there?
Yep.
And so I don't know that we have the answer, but I would ask my LGBTQIA folks in my audience where they have gone as Black women and felt like, oh yeah, like the vibe, like the community here, the vibes here, definitely good. And so if that's your, JG says there's a gay lesbo group in CDMX. I have to find it. It's on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Is that how they describe themselves, Jay? A gay lesbo group? My love, is that what they do? Okay.
Yeah. Also, so we're going to go back to Southeast Asia, right? Back to Thailand again. So we've mentioned Thailand as a place for good healthcare, even if it's not free, but also a place for, I think also a place for a queer Black woman to date. I don't know that for sure, but I'm a guess based on having been there and seeing other queer Black women seemingly hooking up, meeting up, making friends. I mean, making friends in community with each other. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably, we're back on Thailand. I think we're back to that.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about our LGBTQIA friends. And so when I saw soft power activity, I was like, what are we talking? What's that? What are we talking about?
We're learning new stuff in here.
goodness. Hey, Broderick. Yeah, I was like, what? Soft power activity. So medical treatment would qualify you for a DTV visa in Thailand. That's interesting. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So there are places with a whole different approach to healthcare and to wellness and to whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. TT Ness said, I noticed many openly gay couples in Guadalajara as well as Facebook group for Black queer people.
Okay. Good.
All right. All right. So if you have an answer to this question, even if you're coming late, even if you're watching the replay, but you have an answer for like a good place for Black women, LGBTQIA, anywhere in there, drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments. If you're watching this late, whatever it is, just make sure that you're safe. Don't just write the name of the place. Please write the name of the place and this is a good place for, so that we know what you're talking about. Because we've dropped a lot of places like that, a lot of names. Okay, so D agrees on Guadalajara as a good place. All right, and Guadalajara has good healthcare, right?
Yeah.
Anissa says the queer vibe seemed good in PUC.
That's Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
Yes. Sorry, that's not what I want to do. Mexico. Mexico is for lovers, right? Generally speaking, Mexico is for lovers. They don't care who you love, right? Just go make out with somebody, right? Just be in the park with somebody. We don't care who, right? But like, we love here. So, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So we're back at the same countries. Mexico, Thailand. We're at the same places.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's going to exclude a lot of Africa, right? It's going to exclude, and unfortunately, it's going to exclude parts of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Caribbean as a whole gets lumped together. So there may be some places that are more, that are more queer friendly than we know. But in general, that's going to remove a lot of the Caribbean. And so Mexico is close. It's close to the Caribbean. It is on the Caribbean part. Yeah. So we're back at Mexico.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about retirement. Yeah. We talked about healthcare. We talked about LGBTQIA. I wanted to start this with a thought, and I didn't start it there. The thought was, you can try to get residency in the place you love, and I think you should do that. Mm-hmm. And the other thought was, you should also try to get a place in a residency that's really easy. Stephanie's done her easy for her residency. Mm-hmm. Easy on Tuesday, less easy on Thursday residency. She got that done this week with 9 women from Exodus ASAP. Some of them just joined like the week before.
Yeah.
Some of them joined the week before, got in on the caravan with good timing, and went down, and they have their residency now.
Yep.
If you can drop that on the link.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, and the plan is to do another one in May, another caravan in May, and then we have thought. So yes, one that you love, look for a place you love and look for a place that's easy. Yeah. If a place you love, you cannot see a way in now, get the easy place and keep working on the place you love. Okay. Right? But if you think there's a chance that things are going to deteriorate in the US to a point where you're not going to feel safe or comfortable living there. I don't live anywhere I'm not comfortable. Won't do it. Can't do it. Right? If you don't feel comfortable, you don't think you'll feel comfortable living in the US, work on getting residency today. Right? Don't wait.
Because listen, did you hear that the US just said South Africa's ambassador is no longer welcome in the United States?
Mm-hmm. I wonder why.
So listen, if South Africa was a place that you were looking to go to, I don't know that I would expect that place to be open to us a whole lot longer for new residency applicants. Mm-hmm. It's already a long process. Getting residency and all of that in South Africa takes a lot longer than like Mexico and Panama. But the United States relationship with South Africa is deteriorating at a rate where, if that is my place, if my dream is to live in Johannesburg, which is both of ours, a city that we both love, right? I wouldn't wait much longer. Any longer.
Today, start looking at the requirements today. If you got to do something with the consulate, do it tomorrow. Like it's not a game, right? The problem is there's that South African who spent a lot of time in the White House who thinks he runs the world.
Yeah.
Right. And so when the South African government doesn't bow to what he wants, all of a sudden South Africa is an enemy. Haven't they been through enough at the hands of you and people who look like you? Haven't they? Anyhow, and we haven't talked about this yet, but this is, there's a bunch of countries on travel ban. So or it's coming soon.
And so when those countries reciprocate with that, right? When those countries reciprocate, how will that affect us? And those, especially those of you who are waiting, I'm waiting to get I'm waiting to do this later. How will you be impacted?
All right. Now this next section is for our big money honeys. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? There are a lot of countries where you can just kind of like buy your way in, right? Yeah. Now, don't get offended if it doesn't apply to you. A lot of stuff doesn't apply to me. We just gonna keep it moving, right? If it doesn't apply to you, Austria, which is in the EU, right? It's in the EU.
Yeah,
in the EU. You need to have a minimum of 40,000 euro in a bank and provide proof of real estate, purchased or leased, get private healthcare, learn some German at the A1 level, which is the most basic level you can have. And next month is language month in ASAP. Do you have your calculator? What's 40,000 euro today?
I'll tell you in just one moment. Repeat that, Austria, because somebody was assuming that that this was not going to apply to her. And then she thinks maybe.
Okay. So you need to have proof that you live somewhere, whether that's buying a house or leasing a house. You need to get private healthcare insurance. You need to learn basic German skills, A1. And then you need to have 40,000 euro in a liquid bank account.
That's $43,523 US.
All right, $43,000. It's not nothing, but this section is for like I said, the big money honeys.
And that gives you what in Austria?
Residency by investment. Adelia says they only issue 300 of those for a year. So this 2025 might not be your year, but if you want it, apply. Like if you don't apply, you're not one of the 300, right?
Yeah.
You'll never be if you don't apply.
Yes,
and you have a pathway to citizenship in 10 years, but they don't allow dual citizenship, so you'd have to give up the U.S. citizenship. Yeah, but then you wouldn't have to pay U.S. taxes anymore.
Tina Turner said, "Sign me up, thank you."
Bye, friends.
Right. That is phenomenal. Like that is amazing because the UK, the EU, they don't make it easy. They don't make it easy for people to get in there.
No, and that's the thing. If you get in an EU country, you can live anywhere else in the EU.
In the Europe.
in the Europe. Get in the Europe and stay in the Europe.
43,500 US dollars. Basic, very beginner, toddler German. And an address. And then you ain't got to worry about what the United States is doing anymore.
That's no problem. You don't know them people. And there are a lot of countries where you can buy your way in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read the list. So if any of these have ever been of interest to you, I want you to Google how much money you need. Yeah. Australia, I don't think this is a complete list, but this is the list that I have right now. Australia, Austria, Canada, Costa Rica, Cyprus, Fiji, Greece, Hong Kong, Hungary, Italy, Jersey, Latvia, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Malta, Mauritius, Monaco, Montenegro, Namibia, New Zealand, Panama, Portugal, Singapore, Spain, Switzerland, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom. Hit that Google. Hit that Google and see what you need to invest. And a lot of places like Austria, even though it's by investment, it's just putting your money in a different bank account. It's moving. If you have money in the stock market, in a retirement, if you could access money now and you can move it from the US, from a US account to an Austrian bank account, that's all you got to do and lease a place. You don't have to actually, application fees, I know, probably working with a lawyer or someone who could increase your chances of being one of the people selected to get it. Great. But it's just moving. It's just moving money. A lot of these places, it's just having money in a bank account. It's not spending the money. Some places it's buying real estate. Other places it's investing in a business. But a lot of places it's just moving it to a bank account.
Yeah, by investment seems scary, right? You got to start a business, you got to hire people, and you got to, right? And some places are like start a business and hire X number of people. But that move money into our bank, oh, done, right? Easy. It's all called by investment, but sometimes they just mean put X number of dollars in our bank instead of the American bank. That's
right?
Really nice.
If your money's just sitting somewhere, let it sit somewhere else. Now, I know you're probably not going to make as much on it as you would in the stock market. But when you're in Europe and you're on that train passing through 7 countries without having to show anything, because they don't really they have those soft borders, right? And you're eating the cheese and drinking the wine, you'll be all right with your money not doing nothing for a couple of years. You'll be all right.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. We forgot something really important for the youths.
Oh, student visas.
Student visas. Babies, come over. Come sit on Auntie Sheeta's lap. I got a story to tell you. Go get you a student visa. Even if you're not a baby. If you don't want to sit on my lap, come get a student visa. A lot of places don't have age requirements. Just go. Get a student. Learn you something real good. I believe Thailand's visa includes you could learn Muay Thai, I believe, on their visa.
Hiya!
And get the 5-year visa. Now, the details, we're going to have someone come in and talk to you in Exodus ASAP because I don't really know them. But yes.
France's student visa, they're very open. So if you want to study French, right? We're not talking about a student visa to go to university only. Right? No, student is a very broad word in some of these student visas. So in France, you want to study some French, but not at a university, just at a language school. You want to study baking, like Delights by Dawn, right? You want to study, what else would someone want to study? Something else?
You know,
right?
You want agriculture, you want to learn some plant stuff. Now, it says it has to be a higher education establishment, but who knows what that means?
Yeah.
And the age limit is 18 plus. You 95, you want to live in France for a year? Go do it. Go. You can work 20 hours a week, supplement, get a little change in your pocket. But yes, it's usually a 1 year. No.
I don't know. I remember in France, it was as long as your program was more than 90 days. So if your program was 91 days or longer, you got a 1 year student visa.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. If it's 90 days or less, you get the 90-day visa. Yes. And if it's 91 days. So people you ain't got to go out there trying to scam because these programs are set up to get you in there. So you could go through a 91-day program and then have the rest of your time just be yours. Yeah. To travel where? All through the Schengen zone, the EU, chilling, doing the things, living the life. Ooh, right? And you can work.
Yeah.
Y'all missing out.
Yeah. Student visas with no age limit, no age requirement, right? They are sometimes very broad about what student means. And just because it's saying you need to study it at a higher level doesn't mean university. Find out there what they actually mean, who actually qualifies. Because we had a baker come to our session and she was going to school somewhere to learn baking somewhere in France. And that qualified her for the student visa, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to study a language, go to that country and study the language in that country on your student visa. France is sounding good. Yeah, so I've made it my mission. Rashida and I had a meeting the other day, and I was like, we got to get some more women in France. I think you don't know how awesome it could be, how affordable and how accessible France can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, yes, Dawn here in France.
I can't tell if that is Dawn or someone is saying Dawn is in France. I couldn't tell either.
I can't tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get into these countries, right? What is your plan A? Y'all, in the comments, tell me right now, what's your plan A and what's your plan B? What is it? Tell us.
Yeah.
What is your, if plan A being you're like, if everything goes according to plan, this is where I'm going to be in a year. And plan B being like, if I can't do nothing else, I know I can get in here. Mm-hmm. Tell us. Right. Yes. Right. Traveling the diaspora said this. Also look at the tax implications. The U.S. is still a tax. You have a new country may as well. Mm-hmm. Some places have, I'm not going to call it a tax shelter because that's an actual technical term. But like, if you're paying taxes to the U.S., like reciprocal tax agreements, etc. So yeah, look at the tax implications.
Yeah, Rashida had a guest on very recently, mm-hmm. And the video is Mastering Expat Tax Strategies. I'll link to that here. Thank you. I learned from her is that even though people are always like, watch out, because then you have to pay taxes of both. What I learned from her is that often means if you verify that you've paid taxes to the United States, you may need to file in the new country, but what you've paid in the US counts towards your tax obligation. I'm not saying that's everywhere, but I'm saying that gave me some relief when because people are always like, but taxes. It doesn't mean your tax burden is going to be higher, but it may mean there are two different entities, two different countries you need to report to. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't always mean two different countries you're paying.
Yes.
Okay. And then the US, when you're out of the US for more than X number of days, as a resident of another country, when you're in another country for X number of days, your tax burden in the US is lowered anyway. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So things to think about. Steph, do you think we did it? What haven't we talked about? Y'all, what haven't we talked about?
We have, let's see. So we've talked, okay. So if we're here today to talk about, what is the video title?
Where can you move to? But while you think about that, I do want to say something. Broderick brought up something. I'm showcasing a man, but we like him. All right. Not sure if we talked about it. Many Black Americans have a parent or grandparent who's born in the Caribbean and can be eligible for citizenship by descent, and CARICOM is like a mini EU. Yes. I didn't bring it up today because we're talking residency, not citizenship. But yes, part of my plan for the month is to figure out what I need to do to get my Jamaican citizenship. Right? Through my mom, and some other stuff. But yeah, I looked at it and the requirements were really easy. The requirements were like, slide us our birth certificate and sign this form and your birth certificate, and that's it. Okay, bye.
Oh, yeah, man. So,
okay. Now the problem is that I cannot find the Jamaican consulate in Mexico. I was like, I can just show up with documents, right? I don't have to I don't want to mail them off to someone. I can just show up with them and be done, right? But they were like, this is our, we ain't got no email, we ain't got no phone number. This is the building. This is the residence where our ambassador lives. Goodbye. So I got to work that out. But yes.
Girl, just go to Jamaica.
I do not want to do.
You got time.
Administrative work in Jamaica.
Oh.
I do not want to do that. If I can help it, I do not want to do that.
Okay. That's right.
But Yes, if you have citizenship by descent is another great option. If you have a parent or a grandparent who was not born in the country you have residency or citizenship in now, look to see if you can get citizenship by descent. It's available to in a lot of countries. A lot. Let me read you some of the list of who has it, because I know I have that here.
Okay. And it's
Oh, no, I
often
can't read the list because it's actually too long. I remember that now.
okay.
It's like 4 pages of countries.
Yeah.
Like pages of countries. Honestly, most countries have it. A lot of countries.
And do you think you would say most of these countries are definitely yes to parents? There are fewer that will say yes if it's a grandparent,
Yes.
and then even fewer will say yes if it's great grandparent.
Yes, I don't know, but in the few countries I've looked at, I haven't seen great grandparent, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist in the world.
Okay. Okay.
Right? All right. All right.
And that will also often, and so like a country like Jamaica, I think Jamaica, you don't have to do this, but a country like Jamaica would also mean so like in Colombia, if you get Colombian citizenship by descent, then you could get maybe Spain citizenship by descent because of the colonization situation.
So it used to be if you were in Jamaica or Antigua, you were actually a UK citizen.
Yeah.
But then, they were like, oh, bam, get out of here. Get out of here.
Give us free.
Give us free. And so that's why when I look at the applications, they're like, were your parents born before 1964 or after 1964? You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Yes, like that is a thing now. Like where were they born and when were they born is a thing because of in the islands. Anyway, there's nowhere for them to go. There's no Spain for them anymore.
No.
There's no Spain.
So UVA Aviator says it's a full day in Kingston. You need to get your Jamaican certificate of citizenship, then go get your passport. Mm-hmm. So does this mean you've done this, UVA Aviator? And how long ago, if you did? And if you were Rashida, would you go to Kingston to do this? Or would you try to find a different office, maybe in the US or maybe someplace else to do this? Yeah.
Yeah. I saw Invisible Summer talking about, she's Jamaican. She wouldn't live there, moving back as a queer person. I do not want to live in Jamaica. I want to have a place. I want to have a passport. If naturalization gets like devalued, delegitimized, right? I want to. That's my only passport right now is U.S. and I'm a naturalized citizen. So if that were to happen, I would like to have a place where I can go, because if I don't have a passport, I don't know that I can live in Mexico, because I know they're going to be like, well, girl, what country do you belong to? Miss Ma'am, who are you? Even though I have residency, right? Because it's not citizenship. If I lost my U.S. citizenship, I could go to the UK and be like, hey, y'all, remember me? But like, how would I get there? Because when you like got to get on a plane and then if you've traveled internationally, the person at the gate is like, show me all your papers. What I look like without a passport, unless I'm on a deportation flight. I don't want that. Anyhow, that's my reason. Because I'm a naturalized citizen of the US, I would feel more comfortable with a second passport. That's our reason. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't have an answer from UVA Aviator about if she did it and how long ago. Okay. But I'm glad that it's a simple process, even if finding the office open isn't simple. Yeah.
Me asked a great question. If I was born in the UK, why don't I have a passport from there, but only from the US as a naturalized citizen? Because I have not lived in the UK since I was 2 and I'm 45. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all. I had not stepped foot in the UK between the time I was 2, I believe, and the time I want to say like 43 or 42. Like a whole 40 years I had not been in the UK. That's fine.
Some younger people may not remember a time when you could travel to certain places without a passport. So your family could come to the US even though you didn't have a passport.
I had a passport.
You did. Okay, you did.
You have a child passport, but it expires. And
Yeah.
by the time it expired, I had my US passport. So it was like, and naturalization is supposed to be forever. So there was no like, you don't need a UK one, you got your US one.
Mm-hmm.
Until, you know, that man makes everything crazy.
Until 2 months ago, it wasn't a concern.
It was not a concern at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were thinking about things that we had not talked about yet.
Yeah. Where can you move now? Okay. So where can you move now? You can, let's also throw in that you can also leave the country without moving anywhere.
Yes.
You can leave the United States and take you some suitcases and travel the world freely. This is your world, right? We are citizens of the world like everyone else. And every place has an amount of time that they will let you in with your US passport. Almost every place, almost every country. There's an amount of time that you can be there legally with your US passport without becoming a resident. In some places, it's very generous. Costa Rica and Mexico right now, it's 180 days, generally, when you fly in. Okay, different borders have different rules, but and so you can also, where you can go right now is anywhere, right? Anywhere that lets Americans come in, especially if you don't feel like doing paperwork. Look at the list. Where can Americans go without applying for a tourist visa? And anywhere is open to you. So if you want to move now, you can leave now without making an official move. I've been traveling full time since September 2015. And I haven't moved anywhere yet, right? Even now with residency in Mexico, I still haven't moved. I don't have an address anywhere in the world except for my parents' house. And it's been since 2015. So 9.5 years of not living in the United States, but not going through the process of moving somewhere. So also just be free out in the world. There are some places in the world that are just amazing and beautiful. We've talked about a few of them today, right? Amazing and beautiful and welcoming and warm and friendly and good weather and good cost of living and all the things that you want. And you don't have to pick if you don't want to. Not yet, not now, maybe not ever. Enjoy them as long as this US passport is still valuable, as long as the passport is still worth something, right? Which it is today, but use it. You can use that to go out into the world, to get to some places, and then spend some time figuring out, well, what's a more long-term move?
I would say that if you're going to do that, before you leave to bop around, if your citizenship and your only passport is a US passport and you are a Black person, I would say start your residency work now to get residency somewhere else before you start bopping around in a place that will allow you to, where you don't have to be there for like 8 months, right?
Yeah.
I would do that before I would start bopping. Like if you still believe that America will always be the America that we've known, which is flawed, but like generally livable, generally, right? If you think that going into the future, it's still going to be like that, start your bop around. If you're like, I don't really like the shape and the color of things, I would say start your visa process before you do the bop around. Get a visa that will allow you to get a residency visa in a country that will allow you to be out of the country for an amount of time that works for you. For some places, it's going to be you can leave the country for 6 months. For some places, it's going to be you could, like Panama's, you have to be there once in 2 years. Okay, right. That's a great bop around visa. If I had any permanent income, I would absolutely be doing that. And then go do your bop around. Because like we said before, the places that are open to you today
Mhm.
if things continue going the way they're going, are not going to be open to you a year from now.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, that's important. That's important. Yes. As a new Mexican resident, sometimes I forget what it was like when I didn't have the card.
Before, yeah. You forget life before Tuesday,
That's correct.
right?
That's correct. Yeah. 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 Let me tell you, I was stressed out. So I knew we were going to Vietnam. And then after Vietnam, I was going to Las Vegas and then coming down to Mexico for the caravan to get residency. And I was stressed out. Like, I need relations to hold on, Mexico and US relations to hold on through mid-March, right? Like, I know that, or 20 something. Originally, we were going to go to the office on like the 19th, 18th. I was like, I need relations to hold on. It was tenuous, even without me knowing that this change was coming. I felt like things were very iffy for us. And then here we go. We get here, we get our residency, and things change a day and a half later, right? The regularization process changes a day and a half later. Yeah. And like we just said, South Africa, the US just told South Africa's ambassador, you're not welcome here anymore. Leave the country. So yeah, relationships are deteriorating before our very eyes. And so, yeah, it is time to take some action. I feel like the action that I've taken has made sure that my parents are good to go. Rashida's mom already, Rashida and her mom, good to go, right? I think it's time to make sure that you do have a place who will open the door for you.
And I'm going to start talking to some of my family members, the ones I actually care about, and telling them, hi, friends.
Yeah.
Start telling them that, like, hey, what's your backup plan? Like, my godmom is a Jamaican citizen, right? So, like, she's good. She also has a home in Jamaica.
Yep.
She's good, right? A lot of my family is from the Caribbean. So a lot of them are okay or can be okay. But some of them, you got them kids born in the US. Listen, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about this? How are we going to get you out of the country?
Yeah.
Right. But there are places that are opening their borders wider. Canada recently started doing something.
Okay.
Anyone know what Canada was doing? I didn't pay too much attention because, cold. But they did something recently to invite more of a specific type of, I want to say worker, but I don't remember.
Someone in the chat said teachers earlier.
Yes. And there's something, I think it might be more than teachers. Might also be nurses. I don't know. I'm going to hit Google nurses and see what it says.
Maybe you can do a caravan to Canada.
Oh, no, thank you.
You have friends there, so you have a connection to Canada.
Oh, express entry system, 82 jobs in healthcare. Okay, so this is immigration.ca, which I'm assuming is an official government site, but baby girl, I don't know, but I'm going to drop the link anyway. New Canada program aims to improve lives of nurses. 82 jobs for occupation-specific express entry draws.
Good.
So I'm going to drop this here. If you're a nurse we always have nurses looking for places to go.
Yeah.
And nurses. Canada may not be number one on your list, but is America?
Okay, good. Good to know.
And that was a change last week. The recruit. Okay. Y'all be knowing stuff. They're recruiting for doctors, nurses, and skilled workers.
Okay.
Healthcare people. So in all these,
it's always the healthcare people are like, well, what about?
In all these healthcare groups, this week when we see a nurse say, but what about me? Tell them Rashida said, Canada's doors are open. I don't know anything else about the details. I don't know anything else. I just dropped the link. But Rashida said Canada's doors are open.
Yeah.
Are they going to pay you well? Is it going to be cold? I don't know anything. I'm sure they're going to pay you well compared to living in the US. But like we said, like one of the reasons America is so attractive is because compared to a lot of countries, the wages are high. Like I was having this conversation the other day with someone in Mexico. I can't remember where. I think, the driver, a guy who was driving me to my hotel in Colombia.
Mhm.
It was outside of Medellin. And he said his family in the US was making a lot of money. And he was like, pretty much, but their lives are terrible. And I was like, oh, yeah. He was like, they work all the time. And I'm like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so maybe no caravan to Canada. Y'all talk to Rashida about that. But caravan to Mexico, if our facilitator, right? So the facilitator from Mexico is coming in to talk to the ASAP membership on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And if she thinks it's still a good idea in a couple of weeks, if she thinks the system is still working, the system that we used that was changed but not ended, okay?
Mhm.
If that system is still up and running, we'll do another caravan to Mexico in May. Right now, it's scheduled for Memorial Day weekend. Everything is tentative inside of the Exodus ASAP membership.
I would also say that if you've read the regulations and you're like, okay, I don't qualify,
Mhm.
I would allow myself the curiosity of coming to hear her talk and not disqualifying myself because she has more information than you have. Okay. Was that subtle enough, Stephanie?
No, yeah, no, like it was subtle. It was maybe a little too
Too
subtle.
subtle?
Okay.
Don't count yourself out. Don't count yourself out. She got someone residency on Friday that under the new rules probably should not have gotten it, but she made it happen.
Mhm. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So come on over. Come into Exodus ASAP if you're ready to, if residency month sounds good to you, even if Mexico isn't what you're interested in. But come especially if you want to caravan with us to Mexico in May and do what we just did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you to, how do I do this? I know. Oh, hold on a second. I'm moving real slow. Thank you to Annabelle for the super chat. No matter how strange things are in the US, you ladies boost us up. Thank you for coming and watching. Your two Mexican amigas.
See?
Right?
Las señoras. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You're not a senora. I'm so sorry. You are not a senora.
I'm
You're
50.
No. It's an insult.
Oh, what?
Senorita. Unless someone like senora, I have learned, is an insult.
Oh.
You have to be a senorita forever. Like you don't call a stranger, you can call yourself a senora.
Oh.
But someone else can't. I can't call you Senora Perry. I have to call you Senorita Perry.
No, they be calling me senora in Colombia.
In Mexico, you're not in Colombia. You're in Mexico.
I am a Mexican.
You are.
As a
You
Mexican.
are. My Spanish teacher was like, "Do not play in these streets. It is Senorita." I said, "Oh."
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Whoops. I probably messed
Don't
up.
assume. Senorita, senora is every man is a senor. Because men get the privilege of being old and it not being a judgment or looked down on, yes. But women.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
Can you drop the link again for Exodus ASAP?
Yeah, exodusasap.com. Okay. We hope we'll see you over there.
Yes. Jasmine wants it.
Copy and paste. Yeah, Exodus ASAP. So someone's got an accountability meeting today. So like they're working. Okay. There's an accountability group meeting that happens today. If you join today and that's an accountability group you want to be in, they'll be there, right? Like the women in this community are making progress.
Mm-hmm. We do not have a payment plan for Exodus ASAP, but if it takes you a couple months to get the coins together, when you come in for a month, you can watch all the content that's already happened.
That's right.
Right? It's not like you come for a month and you just stay for that month. You come for a month and you're good.
Yeah.
Everything that's happened in the past is still there for you.
That's right.
If you want to leave and come back 6 months later for another month, all the stuff that happened in the past will still be there for you. Now, if you're here 1 month and you're coming back in 6 months later for another month, would you already be abroad if you had stayed in ASAP? I don't know. I can't say for sure, right? But the point of the program is to speed up your journey, right? And the way to speed up your journey is to be in community, to get coaching, to get external people like Our Lady from Mexico saying, hello, 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 right? And so, come through.
Mari's question, will our facilitator who's coming on Friday, will she be speaking on other residency options other than the regularization process? Yes. So normally people get, Rashida's pathway to residency was residency through financial solvency, through showing money, right? Show me the money and you can enter Mexico. So she'll be talking about financial solvency. She'll be talking about regularization, which does not require you to show any money documents, right? No verification of money. She'll probably be talking about, if people in the community ask her these questions ahead of time, she'll probably be talking also about family reunification. Those are the main pathways that we see people moving into Mexico. So get into the community, go to the post where Amina asks you for her questions for our facilitator, and ask your questions so that she will know what to cover. She's going to cover what we ask her to cover, and we ask her inside of the community. But she is a facilitator who works on different versions of residency, like different pathways, not only regularization. She covers different pathways.
And today's accountability group in session is about how much does it cost. So if you don't have your budget together, you get together today, work on your budget.
Thanks, Amina.
Thank you, Amina. Real quick, I wanted to say, welcome, Kim, to my YouTube membership. We usually meet right after I live stream. We get on Zoom together. If you scroll, if you go to my page and then go to community, you should see an invitation there for today's live stream. If not, shoot me a message on Insta and I'll see it there. I'll look for it there. But everybody else can invite you. My YouTube membership, we're getting together today in a few minutes. It'll be after we're done doing this, which has gone longer than I thought, but y'all know we'd be talking. And then Bam Chaos, thank you for a super chat. But we did, we talked today, I don't know if you were here for this. We talked today about where Black queer women can go for, to be in community and to date, right? And find spaces as in locations. If you're talking about spaces like Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, because I am not a queer woman, I don't have that for you, right? This is a very asexual channel. I'm sorry, like I don't got any kind of dating info for you. Sorry. But if you go back earlier, we did talk about locations that where people feel like they have community.
Yep.
And if you may see some members with channels who have some information for you. Yep. So like D from
Brown Girls
Invest Too.
Uh-huh.
Has a channel and she had some thoughts about Guadalajara. Yeah. Did she talk about that on her channel? I don't know. I don't think so, but you can connect with her, right? So sorry. I know the world is generally very cishet. This is all I tell women to do here is to leave their husbands if they got one, right? Like if you're queer, if you're married, if you're in a relationship with a woman, I ain't got nothing to say about that. Keep it moving, right? Like, yes, keep moving in the sense that like you're probably your relationship may be less toxic, maybe than some of our others, but I don't. It's a very asexual space, unfortunately. All right, Wanda, welcome to the membership. We're meeting today. Oh, I should have said this is not. We don't do coaching in the membership. We really just get together on Zoom and talk to each other about our week. ain't no coaching.
Yeah. Remember YouTube, we were talking Rashida's YouTube membership. Okay. It's a fun place. This is different from the Exodus ASAP membership.
Yes.
Which is down to business. Okay. And also
we talk about what we did this week and what we're about to eat and what we're cooking. It's not the membership, but if you want to move abroad, it's not the place for you. I do absolutely no coaching there. Don't ask me no questions. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so Mel Gross says that's why she wants to go to Brazil. The queer Black scene in the major cities is incredible. I can read typing on your phone. Yes.
Very. Very Black. Oh, I get it. Okay, I was still reading it. Okay.
I was like, I know what that says. I was looking at something this morning. Oh, Adelia sent me about Salvador Bahia in Brazil, and I was like, I should go check that out. It's a very Black place. I should go check that out.
Yeah.
All right. I think that does it. Boom, bam, boom.
I agree.
Boom, bam.
Thank you for having me as a guest on your channel, Rashida.
Thank you for having me as a guest on your channel yesterday. Your friends, I appreciate that. We have some new people hanging out here. If you are not subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to move abroad and you're not subscribed to our channels, you're missing out. You're missing out. Go ahead and subscribe.
Definitely.
Come on. Press. It's not hard. Press the button. It's right there. Press the button. Okay. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for being here.
Hasta luego, amigas.
Hasta luego, señorita.